Hello there, party people. It is noon Eastern time on this Monday, April 11th, and I hope this week is treating y'all well so far. That things are good. Hope everyone can hear me. I guess somebody will tell me if you can't hear me, and then I will restart. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and I am very excited. Why am I very excited? Well, I'm generally very excitable. I'm very excitable outlook on several things due to being a very lots of Sagittarius in my birth chart. But I'm very excited because Expedition to Soul. It is a program. This is our 10th time, I think, if I'm counting correctly. I believe this is our 10th time hosting Expedition to Soul, and it begins in 1 week. 1 week. If you have not registered yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I 10 out of 10 recommend that you go get your patootie signed up for Expedition to Soul and join us. Now, what is this even? What is this free Expedition to Soul class that we're talking about? And why should you sign up? The idea for Expedition to Soul came to me one day in 2019. Wouldn't it be great if what if we all just talked like that? It came to me in a moment. It came to me in 2019 as this experience that I felt like people really needed to begin to uncover what it is that perhaps they needed. See, here's the thing. This is the thing about us as people, particularly people who identify as women or fill that kind of nurturing role in our lives. We feel like we never get taken care of, right? We feel like we take care of everybody else. Nobody takes care of us. We grow up being taught to be quiet and be polite and do the right things and live by all these expectations. And then we find ourselves somewhere in middle life. Those of you who are parents, maybe sometimes after having children. If you're not a parent, maybe as you just suddenly find yourself into this point where you're like, okay, I'm done with the unpredictable lifestyle. I'm done with being up and out all night. Like, what is it that I'm doing, right? We find ourselves in this position of taking care of everybody else, whether it's going all in at work, climbing the ladder, taking care of friends, family, kids, aging relatives, neighbors, pets, like you name it. And then we find ourselves one day being like, who am I? What am I interested in? And what am I doing here? And that is the question, the who am I part, the what is it that I want? So many times we teach intention setting heavily in our holistic witchery program. It's open for enrollment. You can actually enroll now, but it's open for enrollment through the end of the month. And we really focus on setting intentions in that program. And that's where we start. And the reason that we start with that is because if you don't know why you're doing something, it's a lot harder to make it happen for yourself. But the barrier for many women is, what is my intention? My intention is to tread water today. My intention is to survive. My intention is not to go to McDonald's again for dinner because I didn't plan. Like, these are the intentions that we're just like, I must survive this day. But what are the bigger intentions? What are your hopes, your dreams, your desires? What is it that fuels you, right? And brings you joy and makes your life feel like magic. And that's Expedition to Soul. Expedition to Soul, we start by looking at our energy. We all have energetic connections to stories. And these stories, these relationships, sometimes physical objects around us, experiences that we're having in our day-to-day life, they inform how we perceive ourselves. They inform how we perceive opportunity for ourselves also. And that's how we start Expedition to Soul, is looking at energy. It's really interesting. I was reading this study the other day, and the study was based on female engineering students. So we know an engineer, you need to know math. I perceive people who would be engineering students as, very highly intelligent. It's not something that I would particularly excel at. I know that to be true. I no way I could get through the math for that. But there was a study done of female engineering students. So already from where I sit, I perceive these people as being superheroes, right? But these engineering students, all the females, they took the males and the females, they took this study, and what they found was the female engineering students were at a significantly higher, why can't I say this? They had a significantly higher rate of perceiving themselves as failures or feeling like they would be failures. So there was a significantly higher rate of these female engineering students reporting that they were afraid of being perceived or afraid of failing. And then there was a lower significance, but still higher than their male counterparts, of feeling like they were capable for the work that they were doing. So it wasn't as significant, but they still marked themselves as being less capable than their male counterparts. It's the same across industries. If you look at studies about women in the workplace, women asking for money, there's this one statistic, and I can't think of where it is or exactly the statistic, but it's basically men will apply for a job when they only meet like 40 to 60% of the criteria or something like that. But women might meet like 80 and still won't apply because they feel like they're not good enough for it. So we have this thing about us, and we will often, when asked, not know like, what can I do just for me? What is it that I want? So day one of Expedition to Soul, we come back to our energy. We look at these stories, these connections. For myself, I can look at several stories in my life, several times in my life, that have really like taught me to shrink, to not expand my energy, to not take up lots of space, to not be heard by lots of people, to be questioned. Maybe I thought people were going to listen to me just because I was a pretty young girl or something, and it didn't have the data to back up what I was saying, like in a work example. Or I had a boyfriend once who questioned like my career aspirations and was like, why don't you just go get a job at the mall and like settle down with all of this? Or how many times I was patted on the back for being like the quiet, good kid, right? All of these things, they impact how we are as adults. And that's what we do day one of Expedition to Soul. We take our energy back. We disconnect from all of the stories. We disconnect from all of the things. And we just look at ourselves and who are we? Why do we think the things about ourselves that we think? Why are we afraid of failure? Why do we think that it's okay for everybody else in our life to like go on these weekend trips away, but we're not taking them for ourselves? Or whatever that looks like in your own life, right? Like that might look different for you. So we start with that on day one of Expedition Soul. We bring back our energy. From there, we look at assembling ourselves in all our forms as our own best allies. We do some shadow work. We bring some magic in, and we choose an item or a tool to charge up with the intentions to continue forward on this journey of Expedition to Soul. And we go through intention setting, living our intentions, doing shadow work, making some magic, and even practicing working with our intuition along the way. So that's what we do in Expedition to Soul. It starts in 1 week. When you register, there's a link on the class page. It's an orange button that says, I think it says like download your workbook or click here for your workbook or something like that. And this is the document that's in there. Now mine I had printed and whatnot at a local office supplies store. But this is all of the materials. You get them right away. The videos, they come out once a day starting April 18th. And then we also have live videos to support it. But there are pre-work exercises in here. And that's what you can start doing this week. So the pre-work exercises are part of the field guide. And what you're actually going to do in here is look at your energy. You look at your energy, and I also invite you in here to look at the energy of the place where you spend the most time. So for most of us, this is going to be your home space or whatever you consider to be your home space. But you could also do it at like your office, your working space, if you spend a lot of time at a family member's home or something like that. And what we're doing is looking at our energy from a different perspective and the energy that we're moving throughout the day. The thing about energy is that it's invisible, right? But it's also very visible because it creates our world around us. So you can't, well, some of you, there might be some seers in the crowd who can see my energy right now. But for the most part, we're not walking around like seeing energy unless we're really looking for it. But everything around us has an energy to it. If you have clutter, that has an energy to it. If you had an argument with your significant other in a place in your home just yesterday, it was like a really big argument, that home space has that energy to it. If you leave, I don't know, if there's like mud all over your floor, there's an energy to that. Now, your perception of it is going to be the thing that drives that energetic connection. Now, I might see mud all over my floor and I think, oh, that's a reminder of this really great adventure we went on yesterday. We hiked for 2 miles. It was so good. And now I just need to sweep it up. But somebody else who that really bothers them, they might see that. And that energy is like, oh my gosh, I'm failing as a house person. Like my house is a disaster. Nobody can see this. Everyone's going to judge me. And it has a different energy to it. And that's the thing about energy. It's personal to each and every one of us. Your energy and your experience is going to be different than my energy and my experience. So when we do Expedition to Soul, the beautiful thing about it is that it's an invitation to come to your own self in whatever way works for you. I'm not going to tell you to do things a specific way, that like you must get to this result, because it's for you to discover. Maybe you want to set intentions and work on finances and creating more abundance in your life. Well, first, you've got to do this work of energy. What is your energy around money? Do you feel like it's really hard to get? Do you feel like it's fleeting, like you can't hold on to it? Because having that energetic connection will for sure make energy hard to get or make money hard to get, hard to hold on to, and feel like it's lacking. So we start there by bringing everything back to ourselves and just dredging up all of this stuff and moving it away. So we only have our own selves, our own thoughts, our own energy to work from here. I don't know if any of you have ever seen an ocean being dredged, but I live on Long Island Sound in Connecticut, so there's water. And every few years or so, there's some dredging going on. And there's this really big, they bring out these huge like dredging boat things. I don't know what they are. Like I'm a dredging expert or something, but it takes forever. Like they're there for a few months. And what they're doing is they're just digging up and moving. I think that's what they're doing, moving all of the sediment and stuff that just sort of settles over time that can change the waterway, right? Well, that happens with us too. Stuff settles over time. We get used to the status quo. We're just like, this is the way it is. Nobody else does this thing, so I have to do it. Nobody ever listens to me, so I have to do it. Nobody takes care of me, so like that's just the way it is. Every time I've tried before, I failed. That's not the way it is for me and my family, or like that's for other people, whatever. All of that has to be dredged up. It needs to be dredged up and removed. And the thing about this energetic work and what we do in Expedition to Soul, and we'll invite you if you want to carry on the adventure to join us in our holistic witchery program. What we're doing there is the constant work of coming back to ourselves. We use this framework. It's the 5 eyes. It's a 5 eye spiral. And basically, we start with setting intentions. We look at integrating them into our life, which is the moon phase we're in right now, that integration phase where we're taking action. Also, seasonally, we're in that integration season with spring. We do shadow work, that's insight. And then we recreate our vision for the future through everyday magic and using our tools like tarot, crystals, all of that goodness. And that's our ideate phase. So when we ideate, we're taking bits and pieces to put things together to create something new, a new vision. And throughout all of this, our intuition spirals and it expands and it gets bigger and bigger so we can hear our gut more clearly in the future, trust our own inner wisdom, and make decisions. And the thing that stands between you and that is all this stuff that needs to be dredged up. It's all of the stuff we hold on to. It's all of the stories that we tell ourselves that just implanted there and we don't even realize that they're there, right? And we need to move forward from them. And that's the first invitation in Expedition to Soul. And in the pre-work, you start right away by working on your maps. So the free class, you can register for it. It starts in 1 week. And you can already be working on your map activity and get started on that. Let's see here. I'm going to give a look-see at the comments. I see so good when we take our energy back. Yes, for sure. That's something that I think is important to remember to do, like to get in the practice of doing that. When you're having like a reaction to something or you're making a decision, is to bring your energy back to yourself and ask, well, like what about this is based on something that somebody else is telling me, or a story that I've internalized, or an expectation I've put on myself for some unknown reason, and what is really my desire right now, and then making choices from there. So many people go like, there's all these, you can find all this information online about like manifesting and creating and whatnot. But the reason that all of these law of attraction type things most often don't work for people is because we're skipping the very important step of understanding these energetic connections to other things. It's not enough to just walk around all day and say, like, I am abundant, I am happy, I am joyful. That helps because it's retraining the way you're thinking about things. That certainly isn't going to hurt anything. But what it doesn't do is take care of all of the reasons that you think a certain way to begin with. So if you're trying to like manifest $5,000, if you don't understand your connection to $5,000, then that can feel, then it can be challenging to manifest that or even to hold on to it. So looking at if you wanted to manifest, your dream home or something, but you've always lived in like studio apartments and struggled to pay the bills, that's the story you're living every day. And it's not about just law of attractioning things to you. It's about saying like, what does it take to pay the taxes on a house like that? What does it take? What kind of monthly income do I need to earn? And what does it take for me to earn that monthly income? What does it take for me to have enough money in the bank to repair the roof if the roof breaks? And then understanding the stories that you tell yourself that keep you from being the kind of person that has what it takes to do those things. That's the foundation bit that so many like woo-woo manifesting things skip over. And that's actually the harder stuff, right? Is dredging up these stories. Like me, one thing that I really struggle with is really like shining a light on all of the awesome stuff that we do. Sure, I can get on here and talk on camera, but if I'm in a room with people and they're like, Sarah, what do you do? I really struggle to shine my light and say, hey, we do this awesome, awesome thing. And when I think about it, it's because there's so many stories in which or experiences I've had in which it's been much safer to not shine my light, and which it's been much safer to just like try not to be seen and not be visible, and undoing those stories. So every time I hesitate and I think to myself, just don't take up space. Well, I don't think that thought, but just be quiet. It's fine. Nobody wants to hear from you anyway. I have to actually bring my energy back in and say, well, why do I think that? Well, I can see because all these things, and that's why I'm thinking that. What's the actual truth here? I have some very valuable things to share, and I better speak up. I best be speaking up because I'm going to change someone's life, and bringing my energy back in to retell that story. And that's the hard stuff. But so many of us can't even get to the part where we're like, what do I even want to do? What's my intention? What the heck is my intention? So many people tell us all the time, I don't even know what my intention is. My intention is to get through this day. That is people's intention. And I don't want that for other people. I want you to have intentions that are like, very clear, that you want to spend 2 weeks every Christmas away experiencing something new. That's an intention. Or that you want to feel amazing in all the clothes that you wear. Every piece of clothing in your house, you want to feel amazing in it. Like that can be an intention. An intention could be that you want to feel excited about your relationship. That could be an intention. Or that you want to feel like you can healthy enough that you can take on the world and climb any mountain. Like that can be an intention. But what are they? And how do you get there? How do you become that person that gets you there? And we start with energy. That's the beginning of it. Let's see. Stephanie says, hello, Stephanie. Stephanie says, I'm going to start my maps tonight. I want to see how different or similar from my first round. Yeah, if you've done this before, Expedition to Soul with us, definitely pull out your past materials and compare to last time. We do have this time around, this is brand new, the upgraded Expedition to Soul experience. And this one is, it's only $39, so it's like a no-brainer. But in that upgraded experience, our program director, Sarah Milne, is hosting a Zoom call on, I think it's on Friday, I want to say, where she's specifically going to go over the MAPS exercises. Folks can come on and share theirs, get feedback, or just cheer each other on, but talk about that a little bit more. So the upgraded experience has additional Zoom calls, and our healer from our membership program, Rochelle, is hosting a visualization on Monday for those folks as well. So lots of extra features if you want to go for the upgraded version. Let's see here. I see, yeah, I have some blocks and haven't been able to clearly identify them. I think this process will really help as it's helped before. Often, like our blocks, we don't even see them. It didn't occur to me until very recently what me being praised for being a good kid growing up. And granted, like I did lots of things that were not good things. It's just that I was very good at hiding it from the grown-ups. That was the thing. But that praise about being good, doing the right things, how that's actually held me back a lot as an adult, because I don't want to not be praised, right? Like I don't want to do something that somebody could not praise me for, which is interesting too, because I also thwart praise, but that's a whole other thing. But it wasn't until recently that I was like, wow, that's actually a block for me, because I was so often just like the good kid, and grown-ups loved me because of that. But what is that doing to me now? Still carrying that. Let's see here. I just had an epiphany this morning regarding the story I've been telling myself regarding this. See, the epiphanies all around. I have to talk to myself and tell me to put on my big girl panties, and it's never as bad as my mind makes it, right? There's this thing that you can do anything for 5 minutes. So if you can do it for 5 minutes, you can do it for another 5 minutes, and you can do it for another 5 minutes. If you can do anything for 5 minutes. Some folks, I can't see your name, which is why I don't say names sometimes. Let's see here. Fifth wheel camper trailer. You have me on this damn travel and work thing. Yes, that is mine. It's interesting because you don't see a lot of people, I think, like as that being their sort of view of what a wealthy, rich life looks like campground status. But for my family, we love time and location freedom, and we have a big 44-foot fifth wheel camper. The thing is monster. It's huge, and for us, we love to take that around and go to new and exciting places. And it serves a purpose for us because one of my kiddos struggles with different settings and environments. And it's like sensory stuff, and it could take a while to regulate. So being able to literally have like our home that never changes on wheels, it makes it a lot easier for us to travel. Plus I have all my work stuff with me. We can go anywhere. And we stay in like these very awesome RV like resort parks that have all of these perks and amenities. And so it's not really camping. It's very much glamping, but we enjoy it thoroughly, and it helps us get out there and see and experience new things. Plus we like to hike and be out in nature. So we often go to these places and then find hiking trails or local restaurants. And we love to chase down local donuts and ice cream. So the like small mom and pop donut shop, pastry shop, or ice cream places. We're always looking for those. So we get some treats and we go hiking. Let's see here. Patty says, me too, Michelle Benzel. It's like, I know something is there, but can't name it. Looking forward to this round. Oh, so Michelle must have been one of those comments up there. Basically another form of fear of failure. Have that, and it's a hard one. Constantly need to logically move past it. Yeah. That's funny. Teachers and adults used to tell me how good Sarah was. Why can't you? Oh, this is Anna. Why can't you be more like Sarah? Lo and behold, she was hiding it. Yeah. And imagine that story. Like teachers when we talk about shadow work, we often talk about, one of the things we talk about is perception of what's going on. So growing up, Anna, like I was always perceived as the good kid, and Anna was perceived sort of, I wouldn't say Anna was a troublemaker, but she was just going to be the one that would be like defiant where I wasn't. And, so there was a few instances wherein Anna got a pass for things just because she was my sister. So that on a shadow work level, I like had to go through this is how come Anna gets away with everything? Why is Anna's life so easy? Why am I working and going to school and doing all these things? Anna's life is so easy. Meanwhile, Anna's like, why is Sarah's life so mint? Everybody likes Sarah, right? So when we look and consider our relationships and the people all around us and the stories we're telling ourselves, it's so interesting because the people in our lives also have their own story and their own perception of what's going on. So learning to detach and just come back to ourselves and say, what's real for me? It doesn't really matter what's real for anybody else. And I have plenty of childhood traumatizing stories I can share with parents, and verbal and physical abuse, emotional abuse, lots of things that I could share. But you know what? The thing is that those people on the other end of that, they were all people having their own problems too. That doesn't mean I forget. That doesn't mean I have to say like, oh, it's okay, I forgive you of this. No, it doesn't mean that. But when I look at my own self and the decisions I'm making based on those things that happened, I can just look to myself and say, How is this affecting my energy and my ability to get what I want out of this life? And then move from just that container of thought, not all the other things, not the resentment at the other people that they should have done this. It's their fault. I don't have this. If I wasn't treated this way, my life wouldn't be like this. It's learning to just be in your own energetic bubble, disconnect all of those energetic threads and look at yourself and see, how is this story impacting me? Because you are the only one who can change your life, nobody else. And all of this, that we care for everybody else, we take care of people, we provide for people, we do excellent in the workplace, we make sure our coworkers have it easy, we make sure our family members, our friends, everybody, we help everybody out. But who's helping us out? You have to help yourself out. You are the only person who is responsible for helping yourself out. And you can ask for help, you can set boundaries, and you can delegate to people in your life who are perfectly capable of helping if it's a family or team matter, right? But it's on you to do that. And then it's on you to hold that boundary, not on them. That is on you. And then if you find, well, they just won't, it's just not working, then it's on you to make that relationship cut and say, this isn't working because this isn't, my boundaries aren't being respected, right? And that all comes back to yourself, which is why Expedition to Soul, it's your soul that you are questing to. You are questing inward. Let's see. Never thought to think about what other people were going through while they were doing something harmful to me, right? And then too, like, think about the harmful things you've done to other people. Let's not pretend we're all perfect here. I've done plenty of harmful things to other people. Am I ashamed of it? Of course. Do I dwell on it and let it like ruin my day? Like, oh my gosh, all these horrible things that I've done. No, I mean, we're human. We're human. In the same grace that you would give other people, you got to give yourself too, right? You got to give yourself too. And often, you know, when people are doing harmful things, they're just in their own place and they don't even understand it. An example of this, I was in high school and there was an incident that occurred and I was bullied mercilessly after it. So much so that my public school system offered to send me to a private school. Mind you, I didn't do anything wrong. Somebody did something to me. Rather than removing that kid, because I was the one being bullied for their actions to me, they wanted to remove me from the situation because otherwise it was like 10 kids who would need removing versus just me, the victim here, right? And I was bullied so hard for this. And years later, as an adult, one of those bulliers reached out to me, or she like just didn't even like remember, and asked if my husband would plow their driveway. My husband used to do snow plowing as a side hustle. And she just messaged me on Facebook. She's like, do you think you could take care of our driveway? We're going to be away and there's like a blizzard coming. And I was like, weird, you mean person from like 20 years ago, but sure, I guess you could do that. She heard from like a friend of a friend, remembered, somebody reminded her of what had happened in high school and how she had treated me. And she later reached out and she was like, I don't even remember it that way. I'm so sorry. And it was an interesting thing to me because I was a little aggravated that she reached out because it felt very self-serving, but it was a reminder that we're all living our lives and sometimes truly don't even realize what we're doing, like truly don't even realize what we're doing. And I really believe that about this person, that she was just a teenager, like following her other friends and probably didn't really realize what she was doing and the impact it would have on me through my entire life. Like, you know, remembering the situation. So when we think about these energetic things and these stories that are keeping us from where we want to go, it's not about this thing that happened, right? It's about how it's impacting you today and taking down those bricks, brick by brick, because that thing is not going away. Just like we talked about in our self-care chat the other day, you're always living in the middle of your story, always. You can always edit what got you to where you are and write a new ending. You're always in the middle of your story. Rewrite the character that you are and write a new ending. But that comes from claiming your energy, and it comes from understanding how to nurture yourself first, how to do shadow work, how to trust your intuition and expand rather than shrink down to make everybody in your life fucking comfortable. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm cursing, but it's true. And now I'm in a passionate blaze of fury over here. Let's see. Shirley says, I can see Shirley. Some of you, I can't see your name, like depending where you're commenting from, if you're wondering. So Bear, I can see you. You are as many people as you know, +1, your real self. Yes, exactly. Shirley says, my thing has been telling myself I can't do it by myself, even though I've been doing it by myself successfully for years. Yeah. Let's see. Very hard for many to do. Easier to blame something on the outside causing the problem. Yes, yes, yes. It is very easy to blame or blame ourselves and say like, because I did this thing, I am not worthy of X, Y, and Z. I see this a lot with parents of grown children who blame themselves for the way that their children are as adults, right? And maybe that is the case. Maybe as a parent, made some decisions that weren't that great. But at the end of the day, like we all have to take responsibility for ourselves. And there's no sense in letting your prime years of life pass you by because you are in a pit of despair over how you failed your kids. That's just an example that I see frequently, and I see in my own life from some family members who have really not lived the life they would like to live because they feel badly about how their children's lives ended up. And I as a kid who was raised by questionable parenting, I think I'm a pretty good example of how we all have it within ourselves to do something different, because I certainly did. So no need beating yourself up about it. Let's see here. No longer allowing myself to discredit, sugarcoat the circumstances that may have caused me to act out of character, hence easier to wear the cloak of guilt. Yeah, for sure. I shared a story to our Enchanted Journey members via email a couple weeks back. It's like a silly story, but it's very vulnerable because it was a really tough year for me. 2021 was, I had lots of like mystery illnesses going on, terrible anemia to the point of like, every doctor I went to was like, I think maybe going to the hospital is an option right now. I was like, what else can we do besides that? It was really bad, and I was exhausted. I was emotionally drained. I was dealing with estrogen dominance and also digestive issues and what I now know to be like back problems I didn't realize I was having. Anyway, it was a really tough year. And at one point, I just had such a meltdown, and it resulted in some behavior that I'm not proud of toward my husband. And I will say, I like this point of what's Angel's Healing Corner. You're commenting from YouTube of not sugarcoating. I didn't blame him for my actions. I didn't say, well, if you weren't this way, I wouldn't have said that or done that, right? But I said that wasn't okay what I did. That was absolutely not okay. And the fact that I've been setting down boundaries, asking for help, and I'm not getting it to the level that I require right now is also not okay. So how do we remedy this? How do we come to a center on this? And it was that conversation that did allow us to come to a center. I think, though, if I had blamed and said, if you weren't acting this way, I wouldn't have said or done that. I don't think that the conclusion we came to and the peace that we have now in our marriage would be there if that was the route that I took. But over years of the work that we do here and things we teach here, I was able to say what I did and said was not okay. There's no world in which I will say that was okay. And the boundaries, the things I'm asking for, I'm not getting what I need. So how do we remedy that? How do we remedy that and move forward? But it is easier to blame, right? And say, well, if you didn't do this, I wouldn't do this, or I wouldn't have said that. And I see Bear saying, I told my children, when you grow up, something will be my fault. I know, I think that about my kids all the time. My daughter is very wise beyond her years. She's 7, and she she communicates like a 16-year-old. And she'll say stuff to me sometimes like, well, Mom, I got this behavior because I saw you do it. And I'm like, well, I know I'm screwing you up, but can we just wait until you're like 25 to witness the screw up? Can we enjoy childhood a little bit more? Anyway, let's see here. I can't see who's saying, it just says from Facebook, I need that communication. You know what? All of the things that led me to be able to communicate that way are in our Holistic Witchery program. Every single one of them. So hang out, do Expedition to Soul, and consider joining us in Holistic Witchery. We start a new round come May 2nd, and it's good stuff. But everything that took me from thousands of dollars in debt and having no confidence about money, or feeling like I had nothing of value to share, or like I had to do everything myself and not ask for help because nobody else does anything right, being able to apologize, all of that, everything that I've done is in there. It's truly life-changing. And for people who feel like you take care of everybody else and nobody cares for you, it's That's where you got to be. That's where you need to be. But Expedition to Soul is the first start. I see that must be, I don't know who's saying it, but she's 7 going on 17. It's one of our teammates here at the Sisters Enchanted. I realized I didn't introduce everybody at the top of this, and I will wrap it up. But in the comments today, as far as I know, I think we have Anna in the comments. That's my sister and the co-founder here at the Sisters Enchanted. She is our Chief Experience Officer. We have probably Christina Booth in the comments. She's our Student Success, Student Support Sorceress. So she helps out with all of the class tech, getting everybody to the right places and in our email inbox. We also have maybe Sarah Milne here. I'm not sure if she's here, but Sarah's our program director. She also teaches in all of our programs and in our astrology program in particular. Danielle Capri might be here. Danielle she does our creative products and AV stuff. If you bought the Magical Self-Care book, Danielle is the one who made it so beautiful. I may have written all the words, but Danielle made it look like that. I could never do that. Not my skill set. And who am I missing? Brandy Schaefer. She is a plate spinner to all things behind the scenes and also is always cheering everybody on in the community. So you might see her here in the comments today as well. And I think I hit all of us. So get yourself registered for Expedition to Soul if you're not in there. And you'll get your download right away. I had mine bound. You don't have to do that. You can just look at it on your phone or your iPad or your computer. You don't have to print it. You do not have to print it. That'll be a question is I can't print it. Can I still do it? Yes, just look at it. And you have all of the days will be in here, plus all of the pre-work is in the first section called the field guide. So get registered, check this out. Consider joining us in the upgraded version. As I said, our program director, Sarah, she's hosting a Zoom call on Friday to go over the MAPS exercises and a more intimate Zoom experience. It's a weird thing to say online. We also have our healer Rochelle doing a visualization with us on Monday, and we're sending all of the upgraded students some fun stickers in the mail. I pulled some out and we found a bunch of like vintage stickers too. So until we run out of those, everybody who signs up is getting some vintage TSE stickers in the mail as well. And those will be hitting the inbox next week, your mailbox rather. I wish I could send them like owl mail. Alas, they must go post office. So you have all of these resources, and there's some welcome videos for you to check out too. Okay. Oh, we're also hosting a Refer a Friend contest, which I forgot to mention. Refer a friend to Expedition to Soul. All you got to do is give your friend the sign-up link, have them sign up. And then once they're in the Facebook group, if you join the free version or if you join the upgraded version, there's an app community in our app. We have an app with community groups. In the upgraded version, you also have access to all the materials right there in the app. So you don't have to go looking for them. They're right there. And so we're doing 2 opportunities. The free group, Refer a Friend, they sign up, they go in the Facebook group, you tag them, there's a specific post, you can tag them in the post, and on next Monday, a week from now, we'll pick 1 friend group to win a prize, and then also in the upgraded version. So if you refer a friend to the upgraded version, you can win a prize from there too. So 2 opportunities to win, one in each different way of experiencing Expedition to Soul. All right. Those of you who are in Holistic Witchery, if you're watching, we're hosting a Refer a Friend contest for that too. You bring a friend to Holistic Witchery, the lovely Sarah Milne will be doing an astrology reading for 1 lucky friend group if you refer a friend. Oh no, that's for everybody. That's not a giveaway. You refer a friend to Holistic Witchery, and everybody who refers a friend, you and your friend, will get an astrology reading with the one and only Sarah Milne. So that's a couple of refer a friend opportunities here. Anyway. All right, then. I am going to jet. I'll see y'all around. I'll be live a few times this week to go over all the things, and we officially kick off on Monday. Always let us know if we can help you with anything. We're here, happy to help. And I hope that y'all have a great day ahead. Bye.